Today we are going to take a look at angles of elevation and depression. So first thing we need to clarify is what is the angle of elevation? Well, angle of elevation is from your line of sight and the horizontal, so looking straight ahead. Oops, I guess I should put that on the line here. And then that angle that's formed is the angle of elevation. Whereas the angle of depression is between the horizontal, so straight ahead, and the line of sight. And that's your angle of depression. So what we're going to look at today is quite a few word problems. And in order to do these word problems, there's a couple things you need to know. You need to know what the altitude is from the ground to the object. What is the angle between the, horizontal and line of sight. So you have to know two of these three. So basically we're looking at a triangle again, and you need to know two parts of that triangle. So your steps, we're going to draw a picture, label everything, and then use trig to solve. So on the back page here, we have a hiker, and our hiker is standing 220 feet from the base of the hill. The angle of elevation is 29 degrees, so horizontal and line of sight. We want to know how tall that hill is, x. Well, what trig function would we use? This is opposite and adjacent. So in SOHCAHTOA, so we're using our tangent. So the tangent of 29 is x over 220. And to solve, we have to multiply by 220. So 220 times the tangent of 29 equals x. So when we go to our calculator here, double check. Let's see, I'm going to go to this scratch pad, and we're in degree mode. So we can type in 220 times the tangent of 29, and we end up with 121.948. So we have 121.95 feet. Now this next one we look at, a little boy is standing on a cliff above the water and sees a boat that is 200 feet away from the base of the cliff. So he's 200 feet away. And the boat is 315 away from him. We want to find angle of depression. And this is where you have to remember your angle of depression here. It is between the horizontal and the line of sight. So we have this triangle right here, and we want to find our angle. Well, if this is 200, up here is 200. So our angle, we have the adjacent and the hypotenuse, so the cosine. So we know the cosine of our angle, adjacent over hypotenuse. So we have to use the inverse since we're finding the angle. So if we type that into our calculator, trig inverse cosine 200 divided by 315, we end up with 50.6 degrees. So let's see here. Oops, where did that go? There we go. Scroll down a little bit more, and we're going to look at two final ones. A princess is at the top of a 167-foot tower, so we need to know this is 167 feet, looking down at a 37-degree angle of depression on the ground attached to the rope. How long is the rope? So we want to find the rope. So again, we might need to complete this triangle. So this is 167 because it's that height. So we have opposite and hypotenuse. So we have sine. So the sine of 37, 167 over x, multiply by x, so x times the sine of 37 equals 167, and solve for x by dividing by the sine of 37. And if we type that in, so we have 167 divided by the sine of 37, we have 277.5. So 277.5 feet here. And then this last one, Michael, whose eyes are 5 feet off the ground, so he's 5 feet off the ground, is standing 30 feet away from the base of a building. So he's 30 feet away. He's looking up at an angle of 50 degrees to the nearest foot. How tall is the roof? Well, let's see. Opposite. So this is the opposite and adjacent. So tangent. So the tangent of 50, x over 30, multiply by 30. So we have 30 times the tangent of 50 equals x. So let's type that in. 30 times tangent of 50, 35.75. But since we need to know the total height, we have to add this distance, so we add 5, and we end up with 40.75 feet.